All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's
Hey,
go.
man.
Okay, so one of us is gonna have to change.
Okay. Yeah. So, a couple things. He,
It's my
I,
son. It is his
yes,
birthday.
that is true. Both of those things are true. He might be your son, but he's
Mm.
kind of like my boy, though. Like we spent a whole week doing letters, and I think I should be able to wear it. I think you're there with him.
Mhm.
I'm not.
But that's fine. But we can't both wear it on the show at the same time. And since I am his dad,
I think it's obvious what has to happen.
shit. It's the Catechin. Kentucky falls to Alabama 96-83. So we've all decided to cyberbully Ben for 30 minutes. Fellas, how we feeling?
Nothing's going to ruin the birthday of my main man Sully, but I'll tell you this: I do think we should bully Ben a little bit because it felt like Kentucky battled for everybody that we had available, and it seemed like Alabama struggled a little bit even against that team. So I don't know, give it to him. It'll be all right. I think we'll bounce back, get healthy. But no, Alabama's a really good team. Obviously, it was basically what I thought it would be. It was a lot closer than the final score indicated. It felt like until the very end there where they dropped in a few threes. But overall, well played game on both sides. I felt like.
Yeah, I agree. I think I am excited what this does for the development of the team, like as a whole this year. I think if we can get healthy, that in March this is going to be very beneficial for Pope to have coached these guys through this kind of game. But you got Colin, Trent, Travis playing like a lot of minutes, getting a lot of really good developmental minutes. And the first like 10 minutes of that game, I thought, holy shit, we have a game plan that's going to work. But you quickly, get guys in foul trouble, and it being as shorthanded as we are kind of takes us out of the plan a little bit. So, um, you know, I don't think there's anything really negative to take from this game other than please let's get healthy. Um, but it still sucks to lose.
Yeah, I'm probably feeling better than you guys are, but still, it was just a frustrating game to watch. I mean, it's two teams I like playing. The first 10 minutes were great, good offense by both. Um, just a lot of fun to watch. These two teams play at a great pace and score a ton. And then I feel like the refs got involved. And even as a pretty unbiased party, I thought they really, really affected um, and if not the outcome, the way Kentucky was able to play, the players they had available, and like Caleb said, with the injuries, we ended up two, nearly three extra men down, uh, and that's really really tough.
It's a frustrating one because you saw how Kentucky could win. Like you were seeing that in the first half, and when they were keeping it close in the second, they just didn't have that little extra bump that would be provided by a Jackson Robinson or a Lamont Butler, and it felt like a game that if you have just one of those guys, like we probably pull that one out. But no shame in losing to a really good Alabama team. So I'm not gonna hang my head on it. It's another one of those just like Texas where I'm just thinking like, that would have been a really good one.
Yeah, this one would have
But
been a huge resume booster. And if because we had the hope throughout that first half, and then a little bit in the second half when we kept pulling it within like two possessions. But what you end up having without Jackson, and then with Ortega being in foul trouble or fouled out, 10 minutes left to go in the game, is their wings are just too good to be relying on our usually rotational pieces to
Hmm.
defend. So, um, kind of, I mean, I think that there was dudes on Alabama's team who had a bigger game than they would have playing us at full strength.
Yeah.
I know it was good to see Carr come in and like
yep.
Carr looked. I mean, I think Carr played. He was the best player on the court tonight. Um, he shut down Grant Nelson most of the game, and he looks a lot more confident with his offense, and he seems to be getting healthy. I don't know what the prognosis is on Jackson and Lamont, but we have a team. We just got to get through this next few weeks. If we can get one of them back before Auburn, that would be so sick.
Yeah.
I think
Another
I
great
it's
thought
Amari game. Amari
yeah,
was great.
fantastic Amari game. Yeah, he's turned into Mr. Consistent over the last SEC play really, right? Like after the beginning of SEC play, he's been
Mhm.
fantastic.
His offense has been stupid good.
Yeah,
He has
hey, and his foul
he ha-
shots have been they're awkward, but they go in lately. I mean, for
yeah,
the most part.
he has a bag of post moves that not only did I know that he had, but I don't think I've seen a Kentucky big man pull out moves like he has since I don't know when. I don't even know like DeMarcus Cousins had this bag that Amari has. DeMarcus was just out muscling people. Amari's moving down there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know that we rely on Amari to get our offense going, and he's a big centerpiece and a facilitator for the rest of the guys. I do wish that Amari would more often. When he's standing there, top of the key, back to the basket, I wish he would just turn and go for it more often. I mean, he is even against Cliff Amori. Jimmy Dykes said that he at some point recognized the mismatch and went for it, and they played the replay, and he was going up against Cliff. It's like that's the biggest guy they got.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you talk like he's going up against Mark Sears or something. And I mean, Amari's a big, strong guy, and he has this bag. And I don't want him to just go hero ball every game. I think that what he does in terms of getting guys open, getting the ball to open guys is huge for us. But I do wish just a little bit more. He'd rim run or turn around and just go for it.
We are borderline asking him to do hero ball right now with
Yeah,
Jackson and Lamont out.
Right.
He's damn near pulling it off.
I think that the mismatch with Cliff came when he was so far away from the basket, and he had Cliff pulled away from the basket. That was when it's like Cliff is a good big man, but Amari can just pseudo point guard as a 7-footer. It's ridiculous. But I did see there was a few plays tonight that where Amari made like a pass to somebody cutting to the rim that was only there because they were trying to like almost double Amari from
Yeah.
making that drive, which was like you see some stuff that we haven't really relied on as an offense yet, but we could eventually, especially once we get some of our. I mean, we get two of our guys that are absolute playmakers back.
Amari did have 4 turnovers, which actually feels low than how it felt watching it, because there were some passes by him or just ones where he was just absolutely just lost control of it. But we're asking him to do a lot. He is a very good passer and distributor for a big man. However, he is not a point guard. Like he's
Right,
just
yeah.
not. So he is playing. We're asking so much from him, and he's playing really well. So I think he deserved the win tonight.
Yeah. I would like to play Bama in the SEC tournament with Lamont or Jackson back.
Yeah,
I mean,
it'd be
ideally
fun.
both. I feel like we played in pretty full strength the first time, and it was one of the best games of the year. A 5-point
But
outing that went
Carr,
back and
so I think
forth.
Carr
Fair
being
enough.
hurt
I mean,
was
sure.
why Grant Nelson had such a game against us.
Yeah, he is an interesting player, Grant Nelson is. I swear it's either feast or famine with him lately. And I mean, I don't know that much, but out of the games I have watched, it feels like he either does everything or he does jack shit sometimes. So I don't know.
Well, it depends if he gets in foul trouble or not, because he does foul a lot defensively. So
Ben, you've definitely watched more Alabama basketball than the rest of us probably combined. There was a lot of where Alabama was doing sort of a double screen action and having a shooter come around, and our guys kept getting pinned in between the 2 screeners, and it looked like they were almost like squeezing them in between. Is that a common thing that Alabama does that you see?
And I don't know. I think Nate Oates' offense is really interesting. I think it actually the way Mark Sears runs it sometimes I feel looks like it did a couple times with Bray running ours today. where even as the point guard, you end up like back to the basket, almost dribbling back out towards the rest of the team, and it works for them. Definitely, Sears gets his. He Sears gets almost the opposite whistle as Colin Chandler and Travis Perry, which is really, really difficult when those are the two guys that are guarding him too. And like, especially I think at the end with Chandler standing there and Sears jumping up and landing on Colin's foot and that being somehow a foul on Colin. It's not like he slid in and took away the landing spot. He just was existing there,
Right.
and Sears landed on him, and that's frustrating. But I saw somebody else say like it works for him. Why would he stop playing that way? He gets that call,
Yeah,
Fair
James
and
enough.
he
Harden.
does.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work though in March as much.
Did one. I mean,
They're turning the ball over so much compared to like what they did last year.
They
So
do
I don't know.
score it at a ridiculous rate, though. Some like Jared mentioned those double pin down sets where they'll either like it's like almost like a blender. And like the first game, you remember you specifically mentioned when they did it to BG one time, that double pin down where they got the second roller like wide open right to the rim.
Yep.
It's the stuff like that. NATO's, I mean, imagine they didn't turn the ball over like that. How hard they would be to beat, dude. Because a lot of those were unforced errors. Like truthfully, like yeah, we stole the ball sometimes, but like not everything was forced. I think it's going to be critical. Like, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't necessarily know if you're ready to jump ahead, but to really snag the games we're supposed to win in the next four. But to do that, I think I don't know if we've talked about Ortega yet, but I felt like he really pressed, really. Yeah, look, his game is tough twos a lot of the time, and just bull rushing to the rim a lot. But it felt like there was times when that was taken away. You turn back, pivot towards the 3 point when you're looking for somebody to throw it to, and you end up taking a tough jumper after you've stopped your dribble for a few seconds and didn't pass it. I felt like there was several possessions that ended like that where we got nothing out of it. It felt like he was really, and maybe it's something, I don't know. I mean, players do notice these things. They say they don't, but like his 10 points per game streak that they bring up every single time he's on camera, maybe they'll stop talking about it. Maybe it'll get out of his head. He'll just go back to playing, within himself versus forcing it as much. Although with the injuries, I get forcing it a bit, but it did feel
It's
extra forced today.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think it's tough when people say like we need Owe to quit playing hero ball. It's like, yeah, I wish he'd quit forcing some of these shots. You know me, I yell every time he takes a tough two, whether it goes in or not.
Right.
But we also kind of need him. I mean, he's a huge offensive
Oh yeah.
piece for us, and
He's
as
a
much
leading
as
scorer, right?
even I hate some of these shots, uh, we really struggle when he doesn't have a good game. Unfortunately, he's been Mr. Consistent most of the year, and so that's been huge for us. But I don't think you can take a guy that scores so much for you, and you can dissect his shot selection maybe, but you can't
Hmm.
say quit taking those shots because
No,
that's
I,
helped.
I
I
think
mean that is
I
our
think
offense.
his shots, yeah, sure. I just feel like there's a couple times when normally he would give it up, maybe just to get like a reset, even just like pass it to a big, come around a dribble handoff, get it back again, take another whack at it. I feel like at times he felt like there's no one I could pass to. Um, and maybe and again, it is his game. You're right, but when he goes 1 for 9, it makes that game really tough to
Right.
watch.
Yeah.
He just hasn't had one. He hasn't had a clunker like
Well,
that. But I mean, you're gonna have one sometime.
I think that the same wing matchups I was talking about that killed us on the defensive side are also the reason that he maybe you got Ainsley and Trent Noah with like future NBA wings guarding them.
Yeah,
You're go away, then you might not feel like you're not seeing Jackson, you're not seeing Butler to pass it to, right? To
yeah.
outlet your risky drive to the basket that didn't work. Um, I don't know. I feel like Kobe actually tonight did better getting to the rim than Owe did.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
they have to overplay the three against
I was
Kobe.
gonna say he has all the gravity in the world from his 3 point
Mhm.
line. That's why he's able to. Guys coming at you full speed. It's so hard to hit the brakes like that as a defender that he's able to get by. What I'd like to see though is he kind of his gather step to me, and this is so who cares, but it's a little early because he gets into the lane, it gathers, and then he kind of doesn't finish a ton of those layups, or he tries to make a pass out of it. I kind of wish he'd keep the ball steady till he got a little closer to the rim, and then just at the last second. Because he's just leaving it out there a little bit is all it is. And again, he's better at basketball like ever dream of being. But from a viewpoint, I think he has developed that drive game throughout the year. I think the next step is getting to where he's finishing a majority of those shots versus kicking out from the drive, because then it's just a reset of the draw him off the three, reset kick, reset kick. And I think if he could finish a few more of those, it'd be big time.
I didn't think that Brandon Garrison had a particularly good game. His stat sheet looks okay, but I don't know if it's that Brandon had a bad game. I don't think he had a particularly good one. It's just that we need Amari so badly for our team to
Right.
function
Yeah.
that when he goes out, it just
Yeah.
looks bad. And the only thing you see is that Brandon is out there.
And okay, so I thought about that too. Not to talk over everybody, but there was a couple times though, I did feel like there's some weird energy out there when Brandon was out there. There's a couple times he went to go, and Carr's usually a pass first guy. He'll look to he doesn't look to go ISO. I was like, Carr doesn't go ISO unless it's in the post and he really wants Grant Nelson's lunch money. And he got it a couple times. He really
Oh
wanted
yeah,
it a few more
he was
times,
waving
but
him off.
so I had to make the
Yeah.
exception there because today he did do that shit. He doesn't usually do that.
It's because he's healthy, though. I think that is a big
Sure,
thing.
because he did. You're right. Because in the Duke game, my favorite play was his and one right at the end when he drove into the key, chested up, and had a man's layup that said, "Yeah, right there," and got the and one. But anyways, there was a couple times where it wasn't the case, and he was at the top of the key, and Garrison came up and was open for that reason, and he completely didn't even look at him. He looked at him and turned the other way almost, and played ball the other way. I don't know if it was intentional, but it felt like the energy was completely off when, like you said, when Amari's off the court, and it could be twofold. It felt like obviously Amari's one of our, if not our best player right now, and the drop off seems significant. Harrison had a better game than I thought he did. Watching it happen in real time, like you said, I was a little surprised.
It looked bad. It looked bad as you're watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also, we got outscored by 20 when he was on the court, so it was just
Hey, yo,
that
was it
in
that
general
bad?
is rough. Yeah.
Well, he's -5.
What?
I really think
all right,
that
I'm looking at
No, it was -20.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I really think that Alabama's guard play was really, really good tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at what Alabama's big guys had, yeah, sure, Cliff had 11, but Stevenson had 4, Grant Nelson had 5, Aiden Sherrill had 2. What killed you was Aiden Holloway with 19, Chris Youngblood with 14, and Sears with 30.
Because no Oweh
and
most of the game.
Yeah, right. No Oweh
Jackson.
hurts. Obviously, no Jackson, no Lamont. And I even thought that Colin played a pretty good game defensively, but then he got in foul trouble really quickly. And he was
playing
out.
Mark Sears and
I thought Perry had one of his better games, but it's just very difficult to. Someone was complaining about Perry, and it's like you have a freshman
who
didn't intend to play a ton, going up against Mark Sears, who was a preseason National Player of the Year candidate.
Yeah.
And that's just not a fair comparison, right?
Like Perry is out there gaming though. He is fearless, dude. I don't care who he's going. One thing I love about him, did he go 1 for 9 from 3? I don't care. The point is
1 for 7. Yeah.
1 for 7. It was something like that. It was something like that. But my point is when he's out there though, and some dudes look afraid to take a shot. Seniors through on just every team in the country, right? He's not one of those dudes. He's gonna pull up and take that shot, and I love that about him. I mean, you score a lot of points. You got to remember the basket's still 10 feet. The ball's the same size. Like he can still shoot the ball. He scored a ton of points in high school, and I love that mentality's carried over. And I think he's only going to get better. But he is a freshman. Didn't expect to play a ton. Is our third or fourth option at the point guard position, playing heavy minutes at the number 4 team in the country, and
the other important thing is I'm sure Mark Pope's doing his presser right now. And he's going to have some complaints about this game. Certainly when he gets in the locker room, there's going to be a lot of things he's going to say. One of them is not, Travis, quit taking threes.
No.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's they didn't go in and that sucks. But it's not like they were bad shots.
Yeah. It's a road game at Bama. at a number 4 Bama. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes that just happens. Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like he looks not over his head against these SEC teams, which is huge for what he was probably expecting for this year.
Yeah,
And
but I mean, he
it's
is
just
a
like,
highlight. Yeah.
yeah,
I respectfully
And I-
defensively,
disagree. I think he does look a little bit over his head.
Talent-wise, maybe,
think-
but he's not scared. He's
yeah,
No,
that's what I'm saying. It's
certainly,
scared.
of
certainly not
course,
scared.
a true freshman. I mean, he is who he is, right? Like he's not a lottery pick. He's not, but he's. I love his mentality. I guess I don't see deer in the headlights. I see him. He's out there competing, and I love that about him.
Yeah.
For he didn't expect him to like what we saw him like we would see him in garbage minutes against the preseason schedule sometimes, and now look at where he's at, right? So, but
I'll say
anyway,
this: he played 28 minutes, was minus 18, but as we know, plus minus is a garbage stat. But he had 0 turnovers and 4 steals.
Yeah,
And when you hear
defensively,
people
he was
talk about
there.
his game, you'd think he'd have 8 turnovers and no positive contributions. And that's not where he is. This is probably a season high for him, maybe 12. I don't know if
oh, it
that's
has to
true.
be,
It
yeah.
feels like it.
And 4 steals, come on now, it's a great game of this kid.
And
Right.
that's
And
threes that were like he had like 2 or 3 threes that were in and just came out, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And
you
threes
guys got
aside, he
fouled
was
on
4 for 5. I mean, the missed threes aside, he was 4 for 5 from the field.
Yeah.
Perfect from the line.
and he's leading. So he's playing in a lead role for a team that is shorthanded.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, I think Travis played well. I think honestly, Colin, that has been like the last 2 or 3 games, has been like, oh, this kid can have the Lamont swiper hands, right? Because he does
Mhm.
that. Now he got screwed tonight, and I think I might have saw him say a cuss word. I don't know, but
Oh,
if we have to shower this guy with because it felt like the fan base kind of turned on him a little bit. Yeah, we have to shower him with gold. No,
Yeah.
we have to keep him here. I think that he has a ceiling that we all expected at the beginning of the season, and then he's coming back to playing basketball for the first time in 2 years, and now you're starting to see it again.
you're seeing it on the drive to the basket too. I don't know if you guys could
Yeah.
tell, but when he's getting that ball and he gets downhill, he's got a quick first step, and he's like got a little bit of a lurch to his posture, but like the way he gets to the rim is really it's a quick
I
first
think
step, and
that
he does
helps
finish
though
well.
defensively. I think it helps him swiping, but not getting a bunch of foul calls.
He did foul out tonight, but
but
yeah.
it wasn't off of those
No,
steals.
you're right. You're right. I think so too. And realistically, I think where are we at with the rest of the season, right? Like focus. We can still get a bye, right? In the SEC tournament, that's still alive to get the top 8 seed. Is it in the SEC tournament, or is that kind of dead?
I think technically we still can. I'll have to look.
Unlikely.
There's some spreadsheet website that you can put in your predicted results and the results of everybody else and see what it gives you. But I think it's still possible.
Because if they were doing that 50-50 talk, because I think the odds were like 50% chance that we said last time, right? If that hinged on us beating Alabama, then it was never really 50-50, truthfully.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
come on.
Well,
Now it might hinge on us beating Auburn, so that's not.
Well,
See, but
I mean,
it was never 50-50 if either of those things existed. I thought it basically existed on beating LSU and Oklahoma, and then maybe stealing one of the other two. But I don't know. And that included Vandy when I looked at it, by the way.
To some extent, too, it's reliant on what else happens in the league.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's impossible now. I don't know. We'll have to check.
I would doubt that very much. I hope so, anyway.
We need to beat Oklahoma.
And
we are beating
LSU.
Auburn.
Okay.
I feel like that's just no, man. They played well tonight. I feel like a decent whistle, and we could win this. We could have easily.
And
won this game.
Auburn was in a close one.
Georgia,
yeah.
Georgia had them on the ropes. It turned out to be a 12-point game, but it was right there.
It was
Georgia had a three to cut
actually
it. Yeah.
margin-wise very similar to this game in that I felt all game long Georgia was right at 6, and that's sort of where we were this whole second half.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up at 12. We ended up at 13.
13 final. Yeah.
We also just seem to win these games.
As soon as you said it though, I was like, of course we're gonna look at the top like 4 seeds and have beaten 3 of them. Like,
Yeah.
a Tennessee, Florida, Duke, and Auburn or something like that'll be how it'll shake out. We'll have beaten every 1 seed, but we'll be like a
What
5.
Tennessee? They're talking about maybe Tennessee's going to be a 1 seed.
Well, I'm saying
And
Florida possibly being a 1. If we were to in that case beat Auburn and Duke looking like a 1 seed. So yeah, I mean theoretically you could have wins over.
I feel. Why do I see it so clearly that we beat Auburn but lose to like Oklahoma?
Please
gotta
God,
get-
let it be LSU and not Oklahoma, because it's just based on like we're gonna trend for like 4 views if we lose to freaking Oklahoma. Like just selfishly so. It already trends that way a little bit anyways. But
I think Oklahoma. All right, there are teams that you can coach a good game against, right? Because there's some weakness to exploit, and Oklahoma's one of those teams.
Okay.
yeah, Porter Moses. It's not the out of conference schedule anymore. Porter Moses is on vacation already. I'm pretty sure that man's a beast in the out of conference stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's a game that Kentucky should beat or should win convincingly. Regardless.
Hey,
They
Oklahoma looked decent today though against
the entirety of
Mississippi
the
State.
SEC looks decent.
Right, but
man,
I'm just saying let's
this
not
league
say
this year.
dude is already on vacation.
Porter,
They
bruh,
beat a
look at
good
the
Mississippi State team.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just saying, look at the last like 4 years. They do really ever since he's been there. They do really well in the other conference. Then they shit the bed in the Big 12 or in the SEC. And that's all I'm saying. It was the Big 12 before. Sorry, I know they're new here, but
So
they've been last.
they were on a 5-game losing streak that included number 2 Auburn, 5 Tennessee, 4 Florida,
Holy
and 13
balls!
Missouri.
What's their overall record in the
That
SEC?
sucks. That's a terrible.
They're
Well,
4-10 now.
Okay.
What
It's a
is
tough
what is
league.
the record to make the tournament in the SEC? 7 wins?
6 wins. 6 gets you there.
That's insane.
In my
That's
opinion, I think, and I guess like if Oklahoma gets 6, probably not. They're pretty far out from the bubble. I don't know. The
I don't
bubble's
know.
ass this year.
I think Oklahoma was on the bubble before this.
Yeah.
I know I saw Ohio State fans dooming because they said this is a killer for our chances now that Oklahoma beat, because Mississippi State's were they ranked? I think they were ranked.
Mhm.
I mean, Mississippi
Oh, yeah.
State's a good team, so this isn't just a win for them, it's a good win.
It's a quad 1 win.
And it's one of those wins that it's like, did the commissioner call somebody, get that one in the books, get more teams in? I don't know, maybe. No,
we need
I
a
don't think. I'm just kidding.
bracketology expert to join the show, and we're working on it.
We are working on
Braden's
it.
working on it.
I brought it up a long time ago. I'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do it when we get off. In fact, I'll do it right now. Hold on.
I'll get you off.
Hell yeah! During the show, yeah. Start.
Just kidding. Getting off, yeah, for sure. Thank you, Caleb. Badger in Georgia.
Not a great Ansley game.
Yeah, he had one of those.
No.
Did he have a trillion?
Sure did.
I don't think so. I thought he had a stat.
He did
He's
not.
Oh no, he
Oh, he went 0 for 1.
he had a stat and it was a missed field goal.
Oh, he put up. He put up
So
an
not a
attempt.
trillion.
Does that kill you if you put up an
Oh,
attempt?
yeah?
I think anything at all kills your trillion.
Oh,
Which
okay,
I mean, a
'cause
trillion may have been preferable to a missed field goal. I mean, I'm not saying that's great.
Yeah,
But you did avoid club trillion.
Well, yeah. I don't know. What
That's
is
rough.
it? Is it just
10
that,
trillion.
that is when the athleticism of the Alabama wings is just too much?
I think the distribution of getting to corner threes is where Ansley really like gets his shots off a lot of the time, and I just don't think it was there.
He only played 10 minutes.
Well,
Yeah.
for that reason, yeah, partially, I would say.
Well, and one thing that I think that we're missing, and this is definitely a byproduct of not having a one of our real point guards, and also not having Jackson, is so much of what we did early in the season was based on our transition offense.
Oh man,
Either poke away steals that we got from Lamont, and to some extent 0-2, or just Kerr being able to push real quick. We're missing that push. And Lamont pushed it pretty well too. We're missing Lamont's pace. We're missing Jackson's transition threes. There were 3 times I think tonight where we were sort of not quite wide open breakaway, but relatively still in transition. Defense wasn't set, and I just wanted Kobe to pull up and take one of those Jackson transition threes. And I don't know if he doesn't think he has enough space for that or what, but he certainly didn't. No one else will take him but Jackson. I feel like that same transition push is what gets Ansley open a lot. Not recently because we've been missing those guys, and he's been playing well despite that. But I feel like so much of our offense was predicated on threes in transition and not letting the defense get set and take away this thing that is a real strength of our team.
Yeah.
And so without those 3 guys in particular, I think it hurts us there.
Something today I think was pretty impressive was we force manufactured Kobe Bryant offense. They were pressing on him hard. And other teams have done that where they defensively have just tried to take Kobe out of the game. And what did he have today? 20 points. Still, even with they were playing defense on him hard, but whatever we had cooked up, offensive scheme wise, I'll have to go back and watch exactly what hit all those points came off of. But he definitely got a lot more offense than he would have in a game like this a month ago.
Yeah. But I felt like they definitely ran a lot of action for him from double like elevator screens to get him like open and have him come or Amari be a decoy down the lane, things like that. But I mean, it sucks. I just really want to watch basketball with our whole team again. It's kind of hard to. I mean, we keep seeing the same stuff, right? Like if we're just missing dudes, and hopefully we get some back soon.
A loss is a loss.
Missing dudes in the best conference of all time.
Yeah,
rough.
Right. A loss is a loss, and 13 points really doesn't feel great. But it's amazing how similar some of our statistics were to theirs. They only had 3 more field goals made than us, although we attempted more, so their percentage was a little better. Identical percentage from 3, a couple more attempts for Alabama. Pretty similar on the free throws. They had a 5-point advantage. Turnovers were actually in our favor, but points off turnovers were theirs. Rebounds were close. Offensive rebounds we won. Second chance points in our favor. Points in the paint close. I mean, it's amazing. All of this. Steals, we almost doubled them up. And I know our defense has been one of the big hot spots for criticism. I mean, I think we played well. I think it was mostly a circumstance of, especially with the foul calls, we just didn't have the guys. And Alabama's one of the deepest teams in the country with talent at every position. And Oates has had time to build his roster, and he's done a great job with it. And that really, really hurts.
Also had like time to work the balls of the refs. That's why his wife left him.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I noticed that when we were oh my god. I noticed that on rebounds we seem to have changed our approach there, because it seems like we're going for a lot more tips on rebounds now rather than trying to put 2 hands on it. It seems like they're just flinging it backwards, which seems like a change that I haven't really seen all of that much. I don't know if that was just for this game or if they've changed their approach with that, but I thought that was interesting.
I like that if you're good at it. That's something I think Alabama does really well. They're really, really good at tipping it back out to Mark Sears or someone on the perimeter. We typically, this season when we've done it, it's been mostly BG, and he'll either throw it straight out of bounds or right to a defender, which isn't ideal, especially when it's the farthest defender away and they have just like a breakaway. But if you can get good at that, like if you know where your guys are, you can get it to them. That's such a big help.
Sorry, straight out of bounds is just.
There was a play tonight where Brandon got a rebound and then dribbled it the full way down the court and then got to the 3-point
Yeah,
line and then drove it and then missed a layup.
I
And that
remember.
was infuriating.
Well, he
And
saw
it
Amari.
was like preseason Brandon too. It wasn't like regular ass like lately. It was like the knobby knees. You know what I mean by that. Just kind of.
We have a great offense. Why not run it?
Right.
Amari just looks so cool doing it.
Oh, he's the best, dude. I gotta be honest. I liked the USA chance at Amari when he was shooting the free throws.
But he shot
I thought that
70%
was
tonight.
I mean, my favorite thing was Jimmy Dykes saying on Amari's third free throw, it really affected him and got in his head when they
After he
did
went 2
this
for
on his
2.
first 2 free throws that he had made both of. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
that man
That
gets
guy
paid
is
money.
a lot of it too.
Dykes
Oh,
should be the other slur.
okay.
He should be canceled, honestly.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Should be.
That
I mean, he
is-
does say a
His
lot of
basketball
questionable
takes are
shit.
more offensive than the
No,
than-
the most offensive shit he does is talk about Carr having the highest IQ after literally doing something and saying Amari is a workhorse for doing it. Like,
Oh my!
he did it like
Caleb.
5 times the last game.
He all he had to do was talk about like quick twitch fiber, and we'd have been there. He'd have been out of that
Yeah.
thing real quick.
Been like, I want this guy to fuck my daughter. Yeah.
Man, Jared's gonna be real busy on the editing on this one. Goodness gracious.
It's like
Time
a
for-
generational return for Caleb. Let's
Yeah.
I will
35-50.
say, we got mad at Jimmy Dykes because it's not fun to listen to him call our
He
games.
sucks.
I was happy to have Dickie V. Love Dickie V. Glad to have him back on the sidelines. He's always welcome here. But at some point, Jimmy Dykes said, "We don't miss the shots. We don't commit the fouls. Almost like it's not our fault you're losing, and that's why you don't like us. That's the only reason you could possibly not like us," which is a joke. But someone shared tonight that Kentucky games with Jimmy Dykes calling them this year, 2-7. Kentucky games without Jimmy Dykes. Kentucky games without Jimmy Dykes, 16-2. So I don't know, man. Maybe.
No, straight up, that guy's a clown. Like go do NASCAR. It sounds so much more natural. Yeah. And he even said a
You
NASCAR pin down. Okay, go on.
Do you guys remember Jimmy's jet? You remember that where he would talk about who he thought was in first class on the jet? He was basically doing like his bubble stuff.
I do kind of remember this.
Oh,
yeah.
thank God I don't remember this.
He'd do his last 4 in, and they used to have this stupid graphic of Jimmy Dykes' face with the old like leather like pilot's hat on it. It was so stupid. It had like little goggles at the top. Hated it so much. They don't do
Something
Jimmy's
about
jet anymore. Thank goodness.
50 to 60-year-old white dudes with that hair, with the cop haircut. I can't stand them, man. Cops and refs. I mean, they're the same people. It's gonna be weird though. Like next year, we're gonna have who's the kid that went to Louisville? The BYU kid, Egyptian.
Ali Khalifa.
Waterman? Oh, Alex Khalifa.
No,
Oh.
the Egyptian. Yeah.
Yeah, the pair, Ali Khalifa.
Oh,
he's lost
Hair
like
is
60 pounds.
insane,
Yeah,
dog.
it would be insane if he left Louisville for Kentucky.
It would be really funny,
would be so
especially if
funny.
he
He glowed
took
up.
up a spot on their bench and then also got buff and then joined Pope.
If they're the rebound team, that would be like if they're the stash away Euro team for Kentucky basketball. I think I'm here for it. Let's bring it back. They'll be our JC. Let's just stash guys there for a year or two.
Yeah, they're the JV
gotta-
squad. So he's
Yeah,
got.
no, exactly. We'll scrimmage them every year, give them a game.
They're
Be all
triple
right.
A. Then they'll get called up to the big leagues.
Hey, sometimes mid-season if things are going the way they're going. I mean, if not, like I'm pretty sure Boogie Cousins still has eligibility at this point. So just get it back in here.
All right, fellas.
I wish we were
Always
playing in
good hanging
the
out with y'all.
ATC. Get healthy during this time.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining the Catechin. For Caleb, for Ben, for Braden. I'm Jared. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Okay.
Happy birthday
Jared,
to my
who's
main man Sullivan.
Jared, who's got some editing to do.